I never expected my life to unravel the way it did. What was once a comfortable and predictable existence suddenly became a whirlwind of betrayal, anger, and eventually, revenge. It all started when I stumbled upon an unusual message on my wife's phone one evening. She had left it unattended while she was in the bathroom, and I couldn't resist the temptation to check it. I wasn't the paranoid type, but something felt off. The message was casual, too casual for my liking, and when I saw the sender's name, a knot formed in my stomach. His name was James, and the messages were flirtatious, loaded with inside jokes and affection. I felt the ground beneath me shift. At first, I thought it might be a misunderstanding. Maybe they were just friends. Maybe it was innocent. But then I found more. Text messages, photos, and even a couple of voice notes. My heart sank as the reality of what was happening hit me. My wife, the woman I'd spent years with, had been having an affair. I could barely breathe, the rage and heartbreak mixing into a tidal wave of emotions. I spent the next few days in a daze. I confronted her, of course. There was no hiding it. She tried to deny it at first, but the evidence was irrefutable. In a fit of guilt and tears, she admitted to everything. The affair had been going on for nearly a year, and she had no excuse, no reason to justify it. My mind was racing, my emotions were all over the place. I wanted to scream, to throw her out, but I stayed calm. Too calm, maybe. I told her I needed time to think. Then came the next shock. As I was processing everything, I remembered something. James wasn't just some random guy. He was married too, to a woman named Rachel. I'd met Rachel a couple of times. She seemed kind, a little reserved, but always polite. The idea of Rachel being in the dark about her husband's betrayal gnawed at me. It wasn't right. She deserved to know the truth, just as I did. The decision wasn't easy, but I found myself reaching out to her. I didn't know how to approach this woman with such heavy news, but in the end, I realized it wasn't about her. It was about taking back control. We exchanged a few hesitant messages, and then I invited her to meet me in person. We agreed to meet at a quiet cafe, and that's where the plan began to form. Rachel was understandably shocked when I told her the truth. She didn't believe me at first, but the more I explained, the more her face fell. She cried, of course, but she wasn't angry. She was hurt, confused, and utterly devastated. I could see that she hadn't seen it coming, just like I hadn't. She had trusted him completely, as I had trusted my wife. As we talked, the idea of payback started to take shape. Rachel and I both knew we had been wronged, but we also knew that confronting our spouses wouldn't give us the satisfaction or closure we craved. No, we needed something more. We needed them to feel the way we felt, betrayed, embarrassed, and utterly humiliated. I suggested we go to a party, a lavish one, where both of our spouses would be. The plan was simple: show up together, put on a united front, and remind our unfaithful partners of what they had lost. Rachel was hesitant at first, but I convinced her. It was the perfect opportunity to make them regret their actions. The night of the party, everything fell into place. We walked in together, both of us looking stunning, our confidence radiating. My wife's eyes met mine across the room, and for a moment, I saw the flicker of guilt in them. James looked over too, his expression shifting from surprise to guilt to outright panic as he saw Rachel standing beside me. They were both caught off guard, and I could see the realization hitting them. This was no accident. We spent the evening talking, laughing, and socializing, all the while keeping our spouses in the periphery. The more they saw us enjoying ourselves, the more they seemed to unravel. My wife couldn't keep her eyes off me, and every time James looked over, Rachel would smile coldly. We didn't need to say anything. Our actions spoke louder than any words ever could. By the end of the night, both of them were visibly shaken. The atmosphere was tense, but we were calm, collected, and in control. As we left the party, Rachel turned to me and said something I'll never forget. "They don't deserve us." It wasn't about getting back at them for the sake of revenge. It was about reclaiming our dignity. It was about showing them that we were stronger than they had ever thought. In that moment, I realized I didn't need my wife. I didn't need James. What I needed was to take back control of my life, and I had done that. That night, Rachel and I didn't exchange a word of comfort to each other. We didn't need to. We had both taken the first step toward healing. It wasn't easy, but it was the right step. The following weeks were a blur of moving on. My wife and I eventually separated, and while it was painful, it was necessary. Rachel, too, made the decision to leave James. As for me, I had learned an important lesson. Life was too short to live in the shadow of betrayal. And sometimes, getting payback isn't about revenge. It's about taking back your power.